What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Ball Out. Today we're going to be breaking down the different levels of college basketball. Each level has its own unique way that impacts players, teams, and the overall experience of college basketball. So if you're a player who wants to play college basketball, or even if you're just a fan who loves college basketball, this video's for you. Let's get into it. First up, we have the NCAA Division I, also known as D1. Division I basketball is the highest level of college basketball with more than 350 schools around the country. This is where the best players showcase their elite skills and chase their dreams of going pro. It's super competitive at the Division I level, and players work extremely hard so they can win a college basketball championship and to make money off of NIL deals. Now let's talk about the scholarships and commitment at this level. Division I programs give out athletic scholarships so players can focus on basketball and school. Each program can have up to 13 players on a full ride athletic scholarship, which means there are more than 4,500 players on scholarship at this level. And if you work hard, you can be one of those players. Playing D1 is like working a full-time job. Players have to go to intense practices, lift weights, watch film, travel, playing games, and a lot more stuff. And even though school is important, basketball sometimes takes the center stage at this level, especially during big events like March Madness. Now let's talk about the facilities and gear at this level. D1 schools have amazing facilities, fancy locker rooms, cool weight rooms, and advanced recovery equipment like cryotherapy chambers. Schools are sponsored by Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour. And depending on how big the school is, players get to wear high quality jerseys made just for them. And out of all the different college basketball levels, D1 athletes get the best and latest gear so they can look and feel good on and off the court. Especially top tier schools like Kansas, Texas, and Kentucky, they all get a lot of gear. All the stuff you see them wearing on the court, I'm 99% sure they got it for free. Now let's talk about the different tiers of Division I basketball. First, we have the high major D1 schools. These are the elite schools like Duke, Kentucky, and Alabama. They all have strong traditions, large budgets, and consistently bringing in top recruits. High major D1 programs are normally competing for a national championship, and they all get a lot of media attention. Next, we're going to be talking about the mid-major D1s. And these are schools like North Texas, Wichita State, and Hawaii. And even though mid-majors may not have the same resources as a high major Division I program, they are still considered and looked at like an elite program. And every year there are a couple mid-major teams that make a deep run, pulling off upsets against high major D1s, and players at this level can easily go to high major D1s and dominate. Lastly, we have low major D1s. These are the smaller schools like Jackson State, Texas Southern, and Howard. Programs focus on developing players with limited budget at the low major D1 level. While they may not compete at the highest level, they still have good experiences and opportunities for dedicated athletes to grow and potentially go on to play pro. And even though it's a low major D1, you will still see elite players at this level. Now let's talk about the best thing about college basketball. March Madness. The March Madness tournament is the best part about college basketball. This tournament is held every spring, and there are a total of 68 teams competing for a national championship. It first starts off with Selection Sunday, where teams are chosen and placed into brackets. And then over the next few weeks, teams get to battle it out, leading on to the Final Four and then the championship game. Fans love the thrilling upsets, buzzer beaters, and the chance to fill out brackets. It's a month of intense competition and unforgettable moments in college basketball. People that don't even really watch basketball tune in when it's March Madness. Overall, Division I players at all levels are elite basketball players. Next, we have NCAA Division II, also known as D2. Players at this level are super skilled and the competition is intense. D2 programs balance sports and school more than a D1 program, but skill-wise, D2 is literally a step under D1. There isn't really a big difference. As a matter of fact, sometimes Division II teams beat Division I teams. And when I say there isn't a big difference between a Division I and a Division II, I'm talking about the mid and low major D1. The guards are just as good and the bigs have the same skill set. It's just the bigs are more undersized at the Division II level. I would say the things that probably separate a Division I player from a Division II player is that the Division I player is probably taller, more explosive, or more bigger. That's it. The skill set is very similar. And to be honest, a lot of Division II players end up at a D2 because of the lack of the exposure they had, or because their grades weren't good enough to go D1. Next, let's talk about the scholarships and commitment at a Division II level. Division II players get partial scholarships, but the thing is that players combine their financial aid with their scholarship. So basically, on a full ride scholarship. And after doing a little bit of research on Google, there are more than 3,000 scholarships out there for Division II basketball. basketball players. So if you work hard and show dedication, you can be one of those people. Division II basketball players dedicate a lot of their time to basketball as well. They have to go to practice, watch film, lift weights, travel to games, and a couple other things that you will see a Division I player doing. The only thing is that they might not spend as much time practicing or in the weight room, because at this level, school is just important as basketball. And when it comes to media attention, it's a big drop from D1. You won't really see no D2 games on TV unless they're playing against a D1 or it's a D2 championship, but you will be able to live stream games on your smart device. You should check out some D2 games and see how competitive they are, especially around the championship time. Next, we're going to talk about the facilities and gear that D2 players get. When it comes to jerseys, D2 players wear good quality jerseys, but they don't get the custom features like the D1 players. They still receive the latest shoes and gear, but they just don't get as much as D1 players. Programs are also sponsored by either Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour. Most D2 programs have decent facilities, but there are some D2 programs out there that have better facilities than the D1 program. But most of the time, D2 facilities are much smaller than D1 facilities. And at a D2 school, you won't see all the advanced technology that you will see at a D1 school. Lastly, even though that Division II programs have a competitive schedule, they normally play fewer games than a D1 program. Overall, if you want to balance school with basketball more evenly, Division II is a perfect fit for you. Now let's talk about the NCAA Division III, also known as D3. The main focus at this level is actually being a student athlete. Players that play at this level play for the love of the game and to build a brotherhood with their teammates. The skill level is still much higher than high school basketball, but the main focus is on the education and personal growth. Division III players do not receive athletic scholarships. Instead, student athletes receive financial aid based on their needs and academic achievements. And since players don't get athletic scholarships, they don't spend too much time focusing on basketball, which gives them more time to focus on school and their campus life. And while the competition is still good at this level, it's nowhere near the intensity of a Division I or a Division II school. Next, let's talk about the facilities and gear at a Division III. Most Division III schools have basic gyms, basic lockers, and basic weight rooms. Their budget isn't as high as a D1 or a D2 school. While the quality can vary, many programs offer decent gear and shoes from well-known brands like Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas. The main thing at this level is making sure that players have what they need without breaking the bank. Also, most D3 players buy their own basketball shoes, but there are some D3 programs out there that might provide basketball shoes for their players. It really just depends. At the Division III level, they also have a national championship, which focuses on the experience and the growth of players. And you probably won't ever see a D3 game on TV unless it's the D3 national championship game. D3 basketball offers opportunities for development while focusing on school, making it perfect for those who want to compete without worrying about the pressure of athletic scholarships. And the seasons are more shorter than a D1 and a D2 school, and that's because they don't want to take too much time away from school. Overall, there are some very good basketball players at this level, and some either transfer to go play at a higher level, or some even go on to play pro. Moving on to the NAIA, this organization has about 250 schools, and it provides a different path for student athletes. The NAIA is for athletes who want to play sports at a high level while focusing on school. The NAIA also offers a competitive environment, kind of the same as like a Division II level. This level is very competitive, and you can find some elite players that go on to play pro after college. A lot of players also try to transfer to a bigger and better school after dominating at this level. The NAIA is also known for its flexibility regarding eligibility and recruitment. One of the biggest differences between the NAIA and the NCAA is that the NAIA coaches are able to talk to recruits whenever they want. Now let's talk about the scholarships and commitment at an NAIA. NAIA schools give out athletic scholarships that are similar to the NCAA Division II. And a lot of schools make sure players balance sports and school. Now let's talk about the facilities and the gear at a NAIA. NAIA facilities vary depending on the school. Some schools have amazing facilities, while others have basic facilities. Some programs put a lot of money into their facilities to bring in good players, while other programs would rather put their money somewhere else. Which means some programs might have nice weight rooms and nice locker rooms, and other programs have basic weight rooms and basic locker rooms. At this level, teams wear a mix of custom and standard jerseys. It really just depends on their sponsorship. Players also buy their own shoes at this level, just like the D3. Some NAIA programs buy shoes for their players, but most of the time, you will see different shoes out there on the court. Overall, NAIA is similar to the NCAA Division II. You will find great players at this level, and this level provides great chances for student athletes who want to excel in both sports and academics. Now let's discuss the NJCAA, also known as JUCO. JUCO stands for Junior College. college, which means players only stay at this school for 2 years. And at this level, there's a lot of hidden talent. Many players play at the JUCO level because of the lack of recruitment or because of their grades. This is just a stepping stone for a lot of players. At this level, players are able to work on their game and work on their grades. So if you don't want to risk paying all that money trying to walk on at a 4-year school, JUCO will be the perfect fit for you. Now let's talk about the scholarships and commitment at a JUCO level. If you didn't know, JUCO has 3 levels. The first level is D1 JUCO. D1 JUCO gives out athletic scholarships, and players at this level will most likely transfer to a high or mid-major D1. Some players at a D1 JUCO also transfer to a well-known D2 school. The commitment at this level can be very intense. It's a grind every day at the JUCO level. Players spend a lot of time in the classroom working on their grades or either in the gym working on their game so they can earn a scholarship so they can play at that next level. The second level is D2 JUCO. This level gives out partial scholarships, and the commitment level at a D2 JUCO is still high, but not as high as a D1 JUCO. Players spend a little bit more time in the classroom than they do basketball. I also found out that every state doesn't have a Division II JUCO. For example, Texas does not have any D2 JUCO schools. Players at this level transfer to D2 schools or mid or low D1 schools. Next, we have the third level, which is D3 JUCO. This level does not give out athletic scholarships, but since the tuition is a lot cheaper than a 4-year school, financial aid helps out a lot. And sometimes players can get some tuition knocked off since they're athletes, so they end up paying a little bit of tuition or no tuition at all. At this level, players focus a lot more on school than basketball, and most of the time players at this level transfer to NAIA schools or D3 schools. There is a very small percentage of players who go and play at a D1 or a D2 level. Next, let's talk about the facilities and gear that they get at a JUCO level. There are some JUCOs out there that have really nice facilities, but most JUCOs have basic facilities. And since players are only staying there for 2 years, schools don't want to put a lot of money into stuff like weight rooms, recovery rooms, and gear. You might see a couple JUCO teams with team shoes, but most of the time players will be wearing their own shoes. And 9 times out of 10, you will see players with outdated jerseys. JUCO players don't get a lot of gear. They might get a couple shirts and that's it. And that's because, like what I said earlier, players are only staying there for 2 years max. JUCO also has a national championship tournament, but the media is very, very small. I'm not gonna lie, you gotta be a dog to be able to survive JUCO. But it's worth it for the players that stick it out because they get to travel to 4-year schools and get the real college experience. And even though players don't like to go JUCO, there's more than 5,000 athletic basketball scholarships out there. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Lastly, even though it's very rare that players get drafted out of the NBA from a JUCO, it has been done. Whether you're dreaming of playing in the NBA or you just want to play college basketball, there's a place for you. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what y'all want me to do next. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.